Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. So in the previous video I show you how you can create a model form and add it to your HTML page. For some technical issues I wasn't able to show how to add the data. In this video I'm going to show you how you can just add data into your database and fetch that data into your HTML file, as well as updating and deleting the post. Okay, so at the current moment this HTML form is just static, it cannot do anything, so we have to create a few logics so that it can add the data to our database. So let's go back to our text editor. Here I have the post function, which is creating a form object and then passing it to our HTML page. And in our HTML page we have a form where it is producing the form with CSR token. Before doing anything, I will just delete this thing which is called action. We don't want the action to take place in index.html. Instead we want the action to take place in the current page. Okay, and in views we have to do some few things. Here we have to check what kind of request is being made by the user when they are making any post request. So if request dot method is post sorry guys, I just got that. Okay, so request.method is equal to post, because when you are actually submitting any kind of form you are making a post request, so we have to check if the request is post. Then if the request is post, then we want to create a new form object and get post form first, and then we want to fetch the data from our post request. So we'll add request dot post. Okay, then before doing anything we want to check whether the form is valid or not. For example, in the form, if someone types a number instead of text, that won't be considered as a valid input, right? So for that reason we have to add check if form dot is underscore valid, and this will check the validity of the form. After that we will create an object of the form to save that, form dot save, and commit assigned to be false, because we don't want any duplicate data into our database. Instead we want to either recreate any data or just update any data. Then I will add the object.save method in order to save that data into our database. And finally I will use something called redirect, so that we can redirect to our home page. Redirect to home. Obviously we need to add the return first. Okay, so let me save this, and one thing I also need to do is add a date. Sorry about that, add a date. Okay, so post dot date. Let's go ahead and save this. Okay, now if I run this, it should not throw me any error. So let's write here learn CSS. I want to learn CSS, and now if I submit this, you can see that a new post has been made at the top of the page, which is really what we wanted. Let's add these things to a div, so you can just later on add some CSS to style it. Now we have to do a few more things to make this fully CURD, which means create, read, and update deleting. So we have to add some updating functionality in order to update in data, and for that reason I will add 2 more links with each post is made it. So the first link would be let's say update, and the second link would be delete. So let's go ahead and create some views for this. Deleting posts is much more simpler. So we will check the delete post later. From now on, just request, and we'll just add pass for now. Def update, and when you are trying to make, update or delete any data from your database, you want to pass a unique ID so that we can identify which type of post and which post you want to delete from the database. So with request, we want to pass an ID. It could be anything. So I'll use the PK, which stands for primary key, because the ID will be our primary key. Okay, so we have to identify the post first. So identify the post first from database. Okay, and I can just copy this thing. So I want to get the post. Instead of all, I will just add get objects dot get, and which post I want to get, ID that matches to PK that we will pass through our URL. Okay, then few things are very much simpler, but we need to add this one first. We will create a form, and we will pass instances, or actually the data of the posts. Okay, so this would be considered as post, not posts. Now the next few things are very much simpler. All we need to do is just copy this part and add it to our update function. So we'll check if the post request has been made by the user. Then we want to request.post and get the instance of post, and we want to check if the form is valid, and at this point we can just add form.save. Okay, so I think this is a mistake. I'll just cut this out, because the instance will be just updated, not created. And then context form page, don't have a page here, so I'll just delete this thing, and we will request the same HTML page, and we are passing the form into our context. Okay, now let's create the URL path. So in our URLs, I have create post. I'll create a new path for updating post. So update underscore post slash, and this is what I was talking about. I want to pass a unique number, so I'll add int after quotation mark. I can just assign that number to anything I want. So this could be ID as well, or this could be PK. Okay, but the first part has to be what type of data you are sending, and the second part is just going to be the alias of that data. Then we want to call views dot update function, and we also want to pass a name for the URL, so this would be update. Let's put a comma here. So let's save this, and let's go back to our index.html and in this section I'm just going to copy this one first. Okay, now since we're making update, we want to change this from post to update, and we want to pass the post.id so that it can identify the post from the database. Okay, now everything seems to be fine. Let's save this. Let's check if the server is okay. Let's go here and let's reload. So we can see there are 2 links at each post, and there is also this create post, which I don't really like to be at the very down. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to cut this, and I'm going to put this in a div itself. So div, add it here, save all. Let's refresh this page again. So now if I click on the update link, it says here it got an unexpected keyword argument instance. Where response instance. Keyword argument. Okay, let me check this, guys, for a sec. So update the post that was in our URLs, update name to be update, index to be update, post.id that was pk and pk. Okay, let's equal to the post here first. Unexpected keyword argument post. Save this again. Update post. Reload this. Okay, what's going on here? So if I click on the update, it says here update post 6 unexpected keyword argument instance. Oh, I see, I actually made a typo error here, so sorry about that, guys. Instance. Okay, save all. Yeah, it's reloading. Okay, now let's refresh this page, and yes, we can see the update post page with the post content. So we clicked on learn CSS updating link, and it fetches the data from the database, then it added to the form. So I can either change the title, or I can either change the content, and then if I submit this, then this data will be updated. Okay, so let's add this called CSS framework. So we can see if it is working. Now if I submit this, you can see that it changes and it says here learn CSS framework. Okay, so our post creation and post updating functionality is working. Let's check if the delete functionality is working as well. So this is going to be very easy. All you need to just is to grab the post first. Obviously you need to pass a primary key, then after finding the post, we want to delete the post, so we'll just say post.delete, and then we want to redirect to home. Okay, now it's not over here because we have to create a URL path for this. So I'm just going to copy this because I don't want to waste time. I can say here delete post and then delete. Now let's copy this. go back to your index.html, and in the delete link we'll pass this delete. So let me paste this first here, and then we'll copy the Django expression, and in the URL we'll change this to delete instead of update. Okay, and we want to pass the post ID with the delete. So everything seems to be now okay. Now let's go ahead and save all. Let's go to our browser, refresh this. Now if I click on the delete link, you can see, okay, what the hell is going on here? Okay, I noticed what actually got wrong here. We didn't mention the delete function, so delete. So the URL path was okay, but it just called the update function instead of delete function. So let me refresh this. Now if I click on the delete, it's going to delete the post. Let's create another post. Let's say learn HTML. I want to learn HTML, and let's add this. And if I want to delete anything or update anything, I can just click on update, make some changes, update that post, and click the delete, so I can delete that post. So now this is fully CURD, which means this is a CURD app, which means that you can create, read, and update and delete this. So this is all of it. This what I wanted to teach you guys, how to create a simple Todo application like this, just using the Django, where we use views, forms, models to create such applications.